Hello. Today we're embarking on a chilling journey to explore the creepiest ghost towns you can actually visit. Grab your flashlight and let's uncover the secrets of the world's most haunting ghost towns. Bodie, California, where the only gold rush now is the rush of tourists trying to snap the perfect eerie photo. This ghost town isn't just ghostly. It's like a movie set where the actors went on a break and never came back. As one of the best preserved ghost towns in the US, Bodie gives us a rare look at life in the Wild West, where men were men and ghosts were probably just men in sheets. As we mosey through the town, you'll see over 100 buildings standing in a state of arrested decay. That's just a fancy way of saying we keep it just tidy enough so it won't fall on you. Peek inside the old general store and you'll see products still on the shelves, eerily paused as if the cashier might return any moment now. Spoiler alert, they won't. Now don't miss the Methodist Church. No services today or any day, but plenty of pious dust to go around. Swing by the saloon where the last call was over a century ago, but feel free to toast with your water bottle. You might not find spirits of the drinkable kind, but the other kind? Jury's still out. Fun fact. In its heyday, Bodie had a population of nearly 10,000 people. Today it's a few shy of that. Okay, it's a lot shy of that. And with a past full of gunfights, barroom brawls, and the occasional robbery, you can bet every building has a story. Some say you can still hear the faint sounds of pianos playing and boots stomping, if the wind blows just right and you've watched enough spooky movies. So keep your camera ready and your nerves steady. In Bodie, the history isn't just around you, it's under your feet, and possibly whispering in your ear, though that might just be the guide trying to freak you out. Let's find out, shall we? Pripyat, Ukraine, folks. The kind of place where the term nuclear family takes on a whole new meaning. Just a stone's throw away from the infamous Chernobyl nuclear power plant, Pripyat was once bustling with life, until the disaster in 1986 turned it into a ghost town overnight. Imagine forgetting to turn off the stove and leaving town. Only the stove is a reactor, and the town remains empty forever. As we take a stroll through the city, you'll notice the iconic Ferris wheel in the amusement park. It was supposed to open just days after the disaster. Talk about bad timing. Now it stands as a rusty symbol of halted joy, a monument to what could have been. Dive into the abandoned apartments and you'll find toys, books, and belongings, all frozen in time, as if waiting for their owners to return and finish that last cup of tea. And while Pripyat may not be on your typical holiday bucket list, it offers a unique peek into a world paused by disaster. So, bring your Geiger counter, and let's make sure our only glow-up is metaphorical. Just remember it's all fun and games until someone finds the old Soviet propaganda posters. Then it's a history lesson. Next stop, Hashima Island, or as it's more ominously known, Battleship Island. Why? Because from afar, it looks like a giant steel warship floating in the sea. But don't let that fool you. This isn't your average naval vessel. It's an island with a past so dense, even the buildings seem to be trying to escape back into the ocean. Once the jewel in Japan's industrial crown, this tiny island was among the most densely populated places on Earth. Imagine living in an apartment so cramped, your family photos had to hang out in the hallway. The island thrived on undersea coal mining, attracting thousands of workers, all packed into high-rise concrete buildings that now stand as silent, hollow-eyed sentinels watching over the sea. The mines closed in 1974, and the workers left so quickly you'd think they were trying to avoid jury duty. Today, Hashima serves as a haunting monument to rapid industrialization and its equally rapid decline. As we tour the abandoned apartments, schools, and shops, it's easy to imagine the buzz of daily life, now replaced by the cawing of seagulls and the occasional tourist selfie. Fun fact. Some scenes from a famous spy movie were filmed here, proving that the only thing cooler than an abandoned ghost town is an abandoned ghost town with a secret agent in it. But beware, the only Casino Royale you'll find here is the royal mess left behind. And while the crumbling facades and deserted streets might make you feel like you've stepped into a dystopian blockbuster, remember, this is no movie set. It's a slice of history marooned in the ocean, telling tales of boom and bust. So, hold on to your hats, or better yet, your hard hats, because exploring Hashima is like walking through a concrete jungle gym, designed by Mother Nature herself. Just a tip. If you hear strange noises, it's probably just the wind. Or is it? Ah, Craco, Italy, where the views are stunning and the population is, well, non-existent. This medieval ghost town, perched precariously on a hilltop, gives living on the edge a whole new meaning. Once a bustling hub with a full deck of residents, it's now just the backdrop for tourists and the occasional film crew looking for that perfect, abandoned village vibe. Craco began its journey to ghost town status in the 1960s, thanks to a series of landslides and earthquakes that convinced its inhabitants to seek steadier ground. Apparently, they weren't fans of their houses sliding down the hillside. Now, what remains is a hauntingly beautiful maze of empty streets and structures that refuse to give up their medieval charm. As we wander through the cobblestone paths, each turn offers a view straight out of a history book. If history books had pictures of eerie, abandoned towns, that is, you'll see the remnants of the Norman Tower and various ancient churches, where the only congregations now are the occasional flocks of birds or a tourist group, echoing through the empty nave. Photographers and ghost hunters alike are drawn to Craco for its undisturbed decay and panoramic views. It's like nature's own museum of human absence, curated by the forces that drove its people away. Here, every crumbling wall and overgrown courtyard tells a story of resilience and abandonment. And just a note, if you feel a chill down your spine as you peek into the deserted dwellings, it's probably just the wind. Or maybe it's the echo of old residents whispering, "Remember us." Either way, keep your cameras ready and your senses alert. After all, in Craco, history isn't just around the corner. It's literally beneath your feet, possibly considering another landslide. Next, we take a somber stroll through Oradour-sur-Glane, France. This isn't your typical ghost town. It's more of a ghostly memorial, where the echoes of the past aren't just heard, they're felt. In 1944, this village was the site of a horrific massacre during World War II, where 642 residents were tragically lost. Today, it stands untouched as a poignant reminder and a solemn tribute. As you walk through the preserved ruins, you'll notice signs of everyday life halted in its tracks. Charred cars still parked on the streets, a sewing machine left mid-stitch, and household items scattered as if their owners might return at any moment. It's like a history lesson, but one you can walk through, touch, and experience viscerally. But don't worry, I'll keep the mood from getting too gloomy with a dash of educational humor. Did you know that even though the town is a ruin, the boulangerie's bread oven is still there? It's now officially the oldest stone-cold bakery in France, because nothing's been baking there for quite some time. Visiting Oradour-sur-Glane can feel a bit like walking onto a movie set of a war film, except every artifact is real and the stories they tell are heartbreakingly genuine. It's a powerful place where history is preserved not just in books, but in the very streets and buildings that witness tragedy. So keep your cameras low and your respect high as we explore this monumental site. And remember, while it's okay to crack a smile at my puns, the memories of those lost here deserve our deepest honor. Let's tread carefully and pay tribute to the strength and spirit of the survivors and the remembered. Let's dust off our maps and head to Kolmanskop, Namibia, where the houses are full of sand and the beachfront property is literally inside the house. This once thriving diamond mining town turned ghost town is now more famous for its picturesque abandonment than its precious stones. It's the perfect spot for those who hate sweeping, because here, the more you sweep, the sandier it gets. Kolmanskop sprang up in the early 1900s when diamonds were found just lying in the desert. That sparked a diamond frenzy, drawing people from all over, eager to make their fortunes. Imagine picking up diamonds while taking your dog for a walk. Every hound's dream. But by the mid-20th century, the diamonds had dwindled, and so had the town's population, leaving behind homes to be slowly swallowed by the desert sands. As we navigate through rooms knee-deep in sand, think of it as an indoor beach day, just without the water and sun and beach. The abandoned structures, from the hospital to the ballroom, now host ghostly gatherings of sand dunes rather than people, creating surreal scenes that photographers dream about. Did you know the town even had its own skittle alley? It seems even ghost towns know how to have a good time. Now, the only strikes happening are from the wind gusts knocking over remnants of the past. Exploring Kolmanskop is like walking through an hourglass where time stands still, but the sand keeps moving. So pull up your socks, literally because the sand gets everywhere, and let's find out how a diamond rush turns into a rush for the exit. Next up, we're heading to Centralia, Pennsylvania, a town with a hot real estate market, literally, because it's been on fire since 1962. Welcome to the town that inspired the movie about that very foggy, very fiery place, where the ground beneath your feet might just be hotter than your mixtape. Centralia's story starts with a coal seam fire that nobody could put out, and like that one guest who won't leave the party, the fire decided to stay for good. This led to nearly the entire town being abandoned because, let's face it, backyard barbecues are less fun when the ground is smoking. Strolling through Centralia, you might notice it lacks, well, a lot. The homes are gone and the roads are cracked and steaming. But don't worry, the graffiti-covered Highway 61, affectionately dubbed the Graffiti Highway, adds a splash of color to the ashen landscape. It's like nature's canvas if nature was into street art and surrealism. Did you know? At its peak, smoke and deadly gases would billow from cracks in the ground. Today, you might still see wisps of smoke, making it the perfect spot for a ghost story, or to pretend you're on a very budget-friendly steam spa retreat. Centralia might not be the ideal vacation spot unless you're a thrill seeker who enjoys a bit of underground sizzle with your sightseeing. So grab your heat-resistant shoes, just kidding, regular sneakers will do, and let's explore this smoky spectacle. Just remember, if you start to feel the ground rumble, it might be time to run, or at least walk briskly in the opposite direction. Off we go to Humberstone, Chile, where the only thing drier than the desert air is the humor about its ghostly state. This abandoned nitrate mining town in the middle of the Atacama Desert is a testament to the boom and bust cycle of industry. Back in its heyday, Humberstone was the life of the party, buzzing with workers and families. Today, it's more like the party left town and took everyone with it. As we walk through the desolate streets, you'll notice the theater, market square, and school still standing, desperate for an audience. It's the kind of place where you expect a tumbleweed to roll by, only to realize even tumbleweeds found it too desolate. And yes, the pool is still there, though I wouldn't recommend a dip unless you're a fan of dust baths. Humberstone might sound like a ghost town cliché, but it's actually a UNESCO World Heritage Site. That's right, folks. This place is so well preserved, it's practically a museum of abandonment. The eerie silence is only broken by the sound of your footsteps, or the occasional whisper from the past about forgotten times when the town thrived on extracting saltpeter. Did you know? The workers here were pioneers in their time, forging paths in the harsh desert long before air conditioning made desert living a breeze. Exploring Humberstone gives you a real taste of their resilience, and a literal taste if you don't watch out for the dusty winds. So zip up your windbreaker and put on your explorer's hat, figuratively unless you actually brought one. Let's dive into the history of this ghostly enclave, where every corner tells a story of dreams, hardships, and the relentless passage of time. And who knows, maybe we'll even solve the mystery of why everyone left their belongings behind. Spoiler alert, it was probably the dust. Finally, let's wander through the echoes of Kayakoy, Turkey, affectionately known as the Ghost Village. Nestled in the mountainside, this once bustling village is now a silent tableau of over 500 deserted homes and buildings. Abandoned after the 1923 population exchange between Greece and Turkey, Kayakoy went from a vibrant community to a poignant symbol of cultural change overnight. Strolling through Kayakoy, you might feel like you've stepped back in time if that time decided to just up and leave. The stone houses with roofs long gone and doors that open to the sky create a real-life diorama of life paused. And the chapels. Oh, the chapels. They still stand, their frescoes fading but still telling tales of faith and daily life that once thrived here. It's like walking through a live-action history book, except all the characters have left the stage. The air is filled with the silent whispers of the past, or maybe that's just the wind chatting up the old olive trees. Kayakoy isn't just a ghost town, it's a ghost classroom, teaching us about resilience and the remnants of lost ties. Here's a fun fact for you. Kayakoy has become a muse for artists and writers who find inspiration among its ruins. Maybe it's the way the sunlight dapples through the empty windows, or how every corner seems to hold a forgotten story just waiting to be told. And remember, if you hear footsteps behind you, it's probably just history trying to catch up. Bye-bye.